This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe, and let's get right into the news. All right, so we got Ja Rule got on the Math Hoffa podcast. Ja Rule, one of the biggest clowns we've ever had. Now, he did run the industry for about 3 years. We'll give him that, okay? For 3 years, Murder Inc. dominated. That's a fact, okay? And he's a part of hip-hop history because the grind back then was a lot harder. If you just follow his career, I wasn't even close to being in the industry then, but I was a consumer, I was a kid, so I bought, the Jay-Z albums and all that. And, you could see Ja Rule's kind of like around. And then when you do the back history, you see that like Ja Rule was, Jay-Z was tied in with Irv Gotti and Ja Rule, DMX. It was just it was a long road to get to where they got to. It didn't happen overnight like it can today. Okay. So anyways, respect to Ja Rule for, the albums he put out and the impact he had. But when it comes to the beef with 50 Cent, it was really just karma coming. And I have to say that 50 Cent went so hard at them that karma came back on him almost immediately as well. And we'll get to this. Okay. So Ja Rule makes his debut album 1999, right? Then he drops Veni Vidi Vici. Then right off, like 6 months later, he drops Rule 336. Then 2 years later, The Last Temptation. Then you got Blood in My... When he drops Blood in My Eye, that's when it's almost over for him. Because he dropped Pain is Love around the same year. This is where it's coming to an end. Okay? Because this is where Clapback's coming out and all that other stuff. Because him and 50 Cent are going back and forth. The last Ja Rule album that sold anything was probably Rule in 2004. And then he was written off in history. He didn't drop another album until 2012, and it was trash. Now, why did this beef happen? Well, he claims he's rewriting history and saying, maybe they did. Of course, they were both in Queens. They knew of each other, right? 50 Cent was signed to Jam Master Jay. And he was also working with Steve. Was he working with Steve Stout? He was working with when he was signed to Sony at first. Jam Master Jay. He had a time when he was signed to like Jam Master Jay. He was signed to Sony. And Sony eventually dropped him. I think that's when he was working with Trackmasters. And around the time he was signed to Jam Master Jay, Ja Rule says he met him. And this is when Ja Rule was on Cash Money Click. So this had to be like, 97? 98, I guess, 97? I don't know. And he says Black Child was signed to Jam Master Jay too, so he would stop at the studio. 50 Cent wanted to do a record, and the record just never happened. He says that's where it came from. I don't know about that. Maybe that happened, but I don't think that's not the origin of the beef. The beef is from Supreme. He had a problem with Supreme. Supreme was working with Ja Rule. They weren't letting 50 in the game. That's basically it. It's just, and this happened a lot. E-Moneybags, look up him. They hated Ja Rule and Irv Gotti, and so Prodigy, being loyal to E-Moneybags, hated them too. He had his own reasons to hate Ja Rule and them, right? People didn't like Ja Rule and Irv Gotti all the time. They were haters. They didn't let people in the game. A lot of people were haters back in the game. A lot of people would stop you from coming in the game. Steve Stout stopped Cormega from coming, or tried to at least. Cormega beat the odds and found a way in. There was a bunch of haters back then. Like, New York was an ice wall. Even when I started getting involved in the music industry around 2003, I'd say around then, like as I was doing college. It was when I started college, and I was also trying to get involved in the music industry, doing like anything with film and stuff, because that's all I could offer, And the people would ice you out the game, man. It was hard. So, 50 Cent had a chip on his shoulder. He said he could sign anywhere. And Irv Gotti admits to blackballing him on Drink Champs. So if someone's blackballing you, right? And you do a diss record dissing everybody in New York, right? And then you do a diss record personally with Ja Rule. And Ja Rule, if I'm correct, 50 Cent was chilling with somebody that had robbed Ja Rule, right? And Ja Rule took it personally with 50 Cent. That it was really Ja Rule and Irv Gotti hating 50 Cent. They just hated him. They didn't want him in the game. I'm sure Supreme had a problem with him too, because that's why he made the movie about it with Supreme and everything, right? And he said he finally got a deal with Eminem after Sony dropped him. After he got shot and everything, and Sony just dropped him, right? He got a deal, and he went hard. I mean, he got hot on his being signed to Eminem, Dr. Dre, and having the best beats and everything. And he was seasoned, and he blew up. It was like you couldn't not see 50 Cent. And he wiped the floor with Ja Rule and Irv Gotti because they were fighting that Fed case. They didn't have, they weren't able to go up against that machine. It was a wrap. And Ja Rule's trying to rewrite how things happen and create a new narrative. Why would we have never heard that this is why 50 Cent dissed him? No, Ja Rule's always finding a time that maybe I can get in now and get people on my side. But Ja Rule's always going to be the corny dude. He made some great. He gave us a great time from 1998 to 2002. Then it was a wrap. Ja Rule was trash. That's just how it works. The music industry is fickle. Okay, that's why you have one-hit wonders and everything. People love you and they hate you at the same time. So from him hating Ja Rule, he hated anybody that tried to help him. Fat Joe, Jadakiss. It started a lot of other side beefs. And then at one point, karma came for 50 Cent because, he really did wipe the floor with the whole label. The Game used his own tactic thinking it would work, and it did work for Game. Game was arguably just as successful for a few more years after that by going against 50 Cent. But that was so corny for Game because you were in the same label. It's like that's like ultimate betrayal. This is a guy that saved your career. You were about to get dropped from Interscope, and Dr. Dre asked for a favor and had 50 Cent help you with your album. It showed you how to be an artist. And then, because if you listen to the Game albums before he was signed to 50 Cent, they were so bad and rough. They were not that great. So he taught him how to be an artist, arguably, for a few years. It was like boot camp. Then he turned on him. And then, 50, like any label, a lot of these labels just fall apart. Young Buck was upset. Once you get one person, as a problem, other people get ideas like, maybe he's right. I'm mad too. Young Buck did, multiple times, left. Now 50 Cent can never even talk to him, It's like, Young Buck's corny, bro. It's a shame. Because I remember talking to Young Buck in 2010, and I was kind of feeling, I was like, oh yeah, maybe something did happen. But then when he re-signed to 50 in 2013, I was like, oh, this guy's corny. If you have that many problems with somebody, you don't re-sign to them. And that's when I was like, okay, 50 Cent really is a good guy. I mean, I already thought 50 Cent was a good guy because look at all the people he's made millionaires, unselfishly. He could have dropped a second album. He dropped an album with G-Unit, with Young Buck, Lloyd Banks, Tony, and, advertised, Tony Ayo was coming home soon. So he really turned up the heat on Ja Rule when Ja Rule dissed Eminem's daughter. In 2003, right around that time, he dropped a tape, and I remember that tape. So many songs about Ja Rule, like I smell P-word. Is that you, Ja? I swear that tape made everybody in New York not like Ja Rule anymore. It was that simple. So 50 Cent dominated for I'm talking about musically. 4 years, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 years. Yeah, I'd say 4 years, 5 years. Because, after 5 years, it wasn't hitting anymore like that. 50 Cent was still the guy. He had the money and everything. But musically, he wasn't dominating, anymore. It's hard. It's hard to be Drake and do it for 12 years. I mean, that's just an anomaly, okay? Usually people hate you at one point. Drake doesn't really have a label where he puts people on directly and people don't go against him. I think that's what really hurt 50 Cent, when people just started leaving the label and having problems. It's hard to control that, but he was trying to take care of everybody. When Drake Drake does it in a different way, which just works. I can't say it's right. It's just so mysterious that, he's untouchable. Maybe it's because he's half Jewish. I don't know. Maybe that helps. It's possible. But anyways, tell me what you think about Ja Rule on Math Hoffa. Sounds like a bunch of cap to me. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Peace.